Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have my book review of the book, The Paradise Snare, by A.C. Crispin, the first book in the Han Solo Trilogy that she wrote for Bantam Books in the 90s. I've been told for so long that I need to read this trilogy, that it's really good and really entertaining, and I've been putting it off just because I didn't have the trilogy. And I read the original Han Solo trilogy that Brian Daley did back in the 70s and 1980, and I just didn't love that trilogy. It was there were some entertaining bits, but it just didn't feel like Star Wars. It just didn't feel that entertaining to me. So I was, not bullish on the idea. But I did love the movie Solo. I thought that Solo was a terrific movie, and I really enjoyed it. And I have to say that this book gives me a lot of the same vibes, a lot of the same feeling, a lot of the same tone that Solo did. I really enjoyed getting to know the character in the movie, and I really enjoyed getting to know the character here. Han Solo, of the original three main characters, the big trio of Luke, Han, and Leia, Han's always been the least interesting to me because I don't usually go for the smuggler character that I like to read in literature. I prefer my heroes. I prefer my goody two shoes. So, but here I really enjoyed reading about him. I enjoyed his exploits, and it was just a fun adventure that was a breeze to read. I actually had a long road trip where we were going to be gone for like 5 days, and I was going to be reading a lot of books during that time, and so I just read this in the matter of like 3 or 4 hours. I just blew through it because it was such a good story, and it was pretty easy to read. I would say this is an easier read than the Han Solo Brian Daley books, which are shorter, because I think that the flow of this book is really good. The characters really connect here, and I think that the plot is really engaging. So, the book has the opening where Han is a kid, maybe 17, and he's been raised on this ship with this bad guy Shrike, and he has a connection with this Wookiee, and she is, kind of a mother figure to him. And he ends up escaping that ship, and he ends up going to this planet called Elysia, which I have actually, I know that it shows up, I think, in Destiny's Way, which is another Star Wars novel. But anyway, he goes to Elysia, where there is this group of like monks that have this religious sect, and he ends up becoming a pilot for them for their various odd jobs and the various factories that are on this planet. And he ends up developing a connection with a young woman there named Bria, who he ends up trying to form a relationship with because he's very interested in Bria, and he also has other characters that he meets as well. And just everything about this book is delightful. It was so fun. His dynamic with Bria is very similar to maybe not similar, but it reminded me of his dynamic in Solo with Kira, and they have a great kind of will they won't they tension that I think is really good. And Bria, is this person who is really, dedicated to religion, but Han does not believe in this religion, as, Han doesn't believe in religions, and this book kind of explains his disinterest in religions in the original trilogy, and how he kind of doesn't really believe in the Force at that time, how he's kind of like hesitant about everything. So it really made sense to his character, and I really appreciated that. I also really enjoyed the planets, the various planets that we went to. I enjoyed Han trying to get out of situations. Han basically getting into a situation and then it all going messing up, and then Han having to get out of the situation is just always delightful and entertaining, and it's just very in character for him. It's kind of out of the frying pan into the fire. He gets out of one situation, ends up being in another bad situation. It was just delightful to read. There is the ending of this book, which partially has to do with the romance and the overall plot of the story, where the characters are heading, really reminded me of the ending of Casino Royale, which is really weird that it reminded me of that first James Bond movie. But I really reminded me of the ending of Casino Royale, which I enjoyed that. And then I also really liked getting to see some of the planets. We get to see a little bit of Corellia, which I liked. We get to see a little bit of a few other planets like Coruscant is present. We get to see a few other places. I think we see Alderaan, and we get to see some characters from the EU. If you are a well-read EU fan, you will be happy to see some other EU characters, particularly the character of Thraken Sal Solo. And at first I thought, oh, did he originate here and then get written in the Corellian Trilogy? And then I looked back at the publication order, and no, the Corellian Trilogy came first. So Thraken Sal Solo, they just, A.C. Crispin included him in here. But it was really nice that she included the pre-existing character. And then we also get, I don't want to spoil those. We get some other characters. I'll say, if you've read the Young Jedi Knights series by Kevin Anderson and Rebecca Mesta, there's a couple in here who is a minor couple in that series. Like, they're barely on the page at all. They're more off page, and you see their family members. Anyway, this couple is present, and it's actually really funny because Han flirts with the woman in the couple, and it's delightful. It's just funny. There's just so much humor there. I also really liked the other minor characters. Han Solo has a bodyguard in this book, and his bodyguard just will not let him out of his sight, and he has like this really specific sense of duty. His bodyguard's name is Murg. I think it's how you pronounce it. It's like 3 U's, Murg. Anyway, and Murg is determined to do what's right. And so even though he's guarding Han, he actually starts to like Han, so he kind of feels bad that he might have to kill Han if Han steps out of line. But I really liked the character of Murg. And it, I think it sets the tone for Han having an alien companion in Chewbacca later on in his life. So I really enjoyed the Paradise Snare. I mean, it was just, I had a few tiny problems with story elements. Like, there were a few things that happened with the priests I didn't like. There were a few things that happened in the ending that I didn't love, but overall I really enjoyed this book. It's one of the most delightful Star Wars books I've read in a while. So I'd give it like a 9.5 out of 10, like 9.3, I guess. It was really solid. So if you've read the first book in the Han Solo trilogy, The Paradise Snare, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Did you really enjoy it? Did it connect with you well? Did you like the characters? Did it remind you of Solo? Let me know all those thoughts in the comments section down below. And until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.